everyone. Good afternoon. This is a tough spot, right? Your afternoon coffee is wearing off. Is that right? And I can't see you, so you can snooze. But some of you probably are thinking, hey, digital from GE? Aren't you the guys that make the refrigerator? What do you know about digital? And some of you are thinking, aren't you like the oldest company in the world? What do you know about digital? And don't blame you. I had some of the similar reactions about 3.5 years ago when GE called me. But I'll tell you this. 3 years in, I am part of the largest digital transformation at work. And last year, we did about $4 billion in digital business in GE. And we've got an aggressive target to do about $20 billion or $15 billion by 2020. So I think I have your attention. And so I want to share a little bit of a story from GE. So I worked for the last 25 years in enterprise software. I've done startups. I've been an entrepreneur. I worked at some of the biggest enterprise software companies in the world. I've also taken a company to IPO. So when GE called, they didn't call me for this job of a chief digital officer. But at the same time, when they called, I wasn't surprised, because I had this belief, long working in Silicon Valley, that every industry will be reimagined with software. Every business will be a software business. In fact, the next big software business isn't even a software company. And my friends would ask me, what the heck does that mean? And now we have great examples like Uber and Airbnb or Wealthfront and FinTech and so on, right? Companies that are reimagining industries with software. So that was my belief. So when GE called me about this, hey, we're doing this software center of excellence. Can you come in and help? And through the process, I had convinced them that if you're really serious about building a digital business, I can come. And they created the job as the first ever chief digital officer in GE history. And it was a moment of, do I believe my own bullshit? So I had to jump in and take the job and go on the ride. So first thing I want to talk about is building a belief around digital. This was my belief. The next big software business isn't a software company, meaning GE can be a great software business. And at that time, GE was just an industrial company, right? And today, even today, the largest portfolio is industrial. I want to talk about the digital transformation. Your view may not be as compelling, or you may not say that this is happening, but you may be motivated by different things. You may be motivated by the fact that there could be an Uber in your industry. Somebody could disrupt you. Somebody could disintermediate you from your customers. Or some of you have heard stats like 40% of the Fortune 500 companies have disappeared in the last 10 years. So you are just worried about survival and existence. Or some of you are worried about a startup somewhere replacing your entire business with an algorithm. It is all possible. So whatever your motivation is, your job one, the number one job, if you're driving digital transformation, if you're involved in digital transformation, if you even utter the word digital transformation, is to get a belief system, not just for yourself. Yours needs to be really strong, but your CEO, your CXO, your entire C-suite has to have a belief system. If they don't have that, this keynote's over right now. You can take that as the only takeaway, go and work on that. That's it. And I think Chris just shared that 84% of digital transformation efforts fail, and I'll talk about why, is because you don't have a strong belief system. You need to have that. While I may have the title of Chief Digital Officer, our chairman, Jeff Immelt, is really the Chief Digital Officer of the company, because he can start connecting dots because he has a belief system in digital that I may not be able to do. So go ahead and build that belief system. If you need some inspiration, take some inspiration from the words of one of the greatest poets of our time, Sheryl Crow. If you don't have digital, you don't have diddly squat. Are you with me? All right. Job one, build a belief system for digital. So a bit about GE. For some of you who actually know GE, yes, we used to make appliances. We've sold that business. But we are in many different industries. We're in energy, we're in oil and gas, we're in electricity, we're in healthcare, we're in transportation, jet engines, and so on, right? More than 1/3 of the world's electricity comes from a GE machine. You probably came here in a flight that was powered by a GE jet engine. And there are over 3 billion images being processed by GE machines in hospitals at work. And we also have a lighting business and a capital business, a 125-year-old company. And why did we go digital? Why did we have to go digital? It's no different than most people who go and think about digital. It's about productivity. It's about new growth for the company. In fact, for us, it was productivity against an industry that was declining. The first half of last decade, industrial productivity, this is not GE productivity, this is industrial productivity, meaning all of our customers in every single industrial segment that we are in had just crawled down to a 1% productivity. 25% of what it used to be the previous decade. So we had to find new avenues and new growth, not only for ourselves, but for the whole industry. A decade of implementing ERP and CRM and supply chain hasn't really yielded any value. That's like having a new fax machine. Doesn't give you any competitive advantage. So we had to do something. And software companies can't do this. So we had to go figure out what can we do in the industrial segment. We know the industry, and we can actually help other industrials as well as our customers. And we also had financial targets. By 2018, we want to deliver over $2 per earnings per share. That means we had to find new growth. This was not just about taking cost out. It's about growth. Growth means new markets, new solutions, new revenue. I talked about when I came to GE, I was the first chief digital officer. And I'll tell you, at that time, a lot of my friends in Silicon Valley asked me, like, what the heck is a chief digital officer? And why are you at GE? And it is not that strange if you think about it, because most of us in Silicon Valley grew up in industries that are inherently digital. So we don't think about digital transformation as much. So if somebody tells you from Silicon Valley that they know digital transformation, unless they've really done it in a non-digital industry, they don't know squat about digital. Okay? And the other thing is when people think about digital, everybody talks about, there's great bodies of work. If you need a justification on why to go digital, there was plenty of companies that are doing great research and telling you what is the value of going digital. But what was missing was translating that into execution in a framework, especially execution and language that I can speak to people who don't understand digital. My peers in GE are CEOs of multi-billion-dollar hardware and services industries. So I didn't need to translate what digital means for our business. So I looked around, and there wasn't really much, so I actually created one. So if you think about what we do in all of our business, we all go to work to create great products and services and offerings that we market, sell, and engage. Now, right about now, everybody's heard digital's about work. We need to transform the workplace. We need to digitize the workplace. That needs to go digital. We need to transform how we engage with our customers. Customer experience has to go digital. Yes, but true digital transformation is about transforming all aspects of your business. And let me pause here and tell you, this is not just about digitizing. Digitizing is replacing business processes with software, or in some cases, atoms with bits. That's good, but that's not enough. What you really need to do is about creating new value, new revenue from digital. It is not digitization, it's actually digitalization. This is a word that I think Mark McDonald, who was an analyst at Gartner, I'm not sure if he's the first one to use, that's where I got it from. And I think he's at Accenture right now. And he coined this word, digitalization, and most of my European colleagues actually use this word, that it is about creating new value, new revenue from digital assets. If you're digitizing work, if you're transforming marketing or your customer experience using digital, that's great, but that is not digital transformation. You need to get to the core of digital transformation. The core of digital transformation is your products. What are your offerings? What are your services that you sell to your customers? That has to go digital. If you're not transforming the core of your offering, you are not doing digital transformation. Are we clear? All right. So with that lens of everything going digital, I started looking around the company in terms of what are we doing? What can we do with this new lens that we have? So immediately I saw things like in our machines, we were making them connected. We could go do monitoring and diagnostics. If you made thermostats, you could make connected thermostats. That seems like a cool idea. You could do something really good with it. There is something you can learn from the data of the connected machines. And if you look at work internally in GE, we were doing a lot of manufacturing, and we were trying to eliminate all the paper in manufacturing. Yes, it's about connecting ERP and PLM and supply chain systems, but we found that there was a whole missing thread that connects all of these systems together. That was an opportunity. We looked at how we were automating all of our field services people. There's about 17,000 field services people in just the power business. But we were missing the intelligence to automate them. Because if you really want to transform the work, it's not just deploying field services like ServiceMax. You also need to build the intelligence around the machines and when they need service and the predictive maintenance, and can you optimize the scheduling window around energy market pricing, and how do you bring the right service technician at that time. So it was a huge opportunity that was underserved in the market. And lastly, when we were thinking about digital, there was a belief in our company that nobody buys a gas turbine over a website, so why even bother? But pretty soon, our customers were connecting with us and starting to learn about the machines they had bought, the insights that we could give them, and what additional services we could generate, and generate huge pipeline for net new sales. Again, all of this is important, but the core of this was getting to our digital solutions, as in we made giant machines, right? We made gas turbines, wind turbines, and so on. What can we do around those machines? There was something about the data around the machines. Here, we talked about we took a little bit of inspiration from companies like Amazon. If you think about what Amazon did over the last decade, they completely eliminated this idea of segment demographic-based marketing. You're no longer over 25, under 40, married with 2 kids living in suburbia. They actually now have your exact psychographic profile, which means they know your behaviors, they know your intent. They have a digital fingerprint of your personality. And they can now target you as a segment of 1, and they know you as a P&L of 1. They don't have P&Ls by product types, they have a P&L by you. What is your P&L? And we could probably do the same thing around our machines. We had lots of data. And in that digital exhaust of our machines was this gem. Hundreds of millions of hours of operating data. Just in the power business, I had over 120 million hours of operating data. So the question was, what can we do with that data? How do you monetize it? We came up with this idea of a digital twin. So what is a digital twin? A digital twin is a virtual copy of a physical asset. All of these machines have hundreds of sensors with thousands of data points that generate terabytes of data a day. But if you combine all of that data with the knowledge that we have about those machines, that is the thermal model, the physics model, the performance model, the operating model, we could create copies, real, live, operational copies in the cloud. If we could do it about our wind turbine, we could do it about our gas turbine. And we could do it about our steam power plant, or a nuclear power plant, or a hospital. And if we do it about our machines, there's nothing that stops us from doing it in other machines that we don't even make. In fact, we could make digital twins of the entire power plant, entire wind farm, a substation, a hospital, a shipping yard. We were onto something. We wouldn't have started with this idea if we just didn't follow the digital exhaust. And this actually became our vision and strategy. Initially, we were thinking about our machines. But really, the bigger opportunity is about the industrial setting. Just to use that analogy, if we were making thermostats and we could make connected thermostats, wouldn't it be cool if we made the connected home and the smart home? And so we could now create applications around entire industrial settings. This is a whole new market. And if we were trying to automate our field workers and we knew something about it, we knew the intelligence by which we need to automate that field service workers, we can not only help ourselves, we can help every single industrial worker in the world. And every single industrial worker connecting to our machines, connecting to the settings that the machines sit in, as well as with emerging drones and robots that are entering the workplace. A whole new market opportunity. And if we were using digital to reimagine our customer relationships. Our customers are trying to do the same thing. We could help them. We could help every one of our customers with their customers. Imagine this building right here, Marriott, right? Tons of lights. This is a customer of the local power company. And the local power company only knows Marriott as a meter. You consume X amount of power, and that's it. What if we could replace all of the bulbs in here with LED, drive energy efficiency, combine it with combined heating and power? The local power company can come and sell energy efficiency. So we're starting to place bets in how we help our customer's customer. Now, I want to give you an example from one industry of how big this endeavor is. That's a big idea. But to do this, it's even bigger and more complex from an industrial setting. Everybody talks about big data and IoT and consumers, and it is cool to have Fitbits and smartphones about IoT data, but I'll tell you, the industrial data is going to dwarf the consumer data. Every one of my machines can generate more than 2 terabytes of data per day. That's more data than many of us will put in all social media, in all phones, in all devices across an entire year. And machines talk more reliably. I post on Facebook when I feel like being social, but my machines post their statuses every second. That means I can learn something by collecting sub-second data. We collect 10-second data. We collect sub-second data at a wind farm. And we can do some intelligent optimization. Intelligent optimization, like we can probably determine if the blade of the wind turbine needs to be turned to catch more wind, or if it needs to be turned off because there's a weather storm coming. And all of these devices are getting connected. By 2020, there'll be 7 billion connected devices just in the electricity industry. And across the world, there'll be about 15 billion, 20 billion devices, or 50 billion by 2025. But this also requires a very different way of looking at technology. So when we started looking at this, and this is a moment of, do we have to buy or build? We came to the conclusion that this doesn't exist in the world today. Meaning, there were technology stacks that were built for, like IT technology stacks for applications like ERP or CRM, which is about humans entering data. Machines generating data is a new game. So you need to understand this landscape very differently. So we had to go purpose-build an industrial internet platform, or an IoT platform dedicated for industrial world. We call it Predix. And it is a platform that stretches all the way from edge to the cloud. Now, not every one of you has to rush and go build your own platform for your digital transformation. You may look around, you may partner, given GE scale, and we had seen some incredible benefits with the early ideas of digital twin that we did. For example, we generated more energy using the same wind turbines with the same wind. 5 to 10% more energy. If we can do that just at the machine level, what can we do at a wind farm level? Right? What can we do when we optimize the entire electricity ecosystem? Now, when we can apply it to all the different industries that GE was in, we needed a purpose-built platform. So we started building it. And simply put, for many of you who are tech savvy, all this platform is at the end is it allows us to build modernized control to the end. We have edge applications, meaning think of a wind farm in remote Texas somewhere that doesn't have great data connectivity. It doesn't make sense to stream terabytes of data from that wind farm to the cloud. We could have local data and local decisions being taken, so we build machines at the edge that are cloud-aware, that get all their intelligence from collective learning in the cloud and the fleet learning in the cloud, but can optimize outcomes at a local level. We also built the notion of industrial cybersecurity, because people were worried about IT security, but operational technology security and physical security of the machines themselves was not something people worried about, so we had to build that idea of industrial cybersecurity. And we had to think about a world where we were rapidly ingesting data across thousands and thousands of tags and making sense of all of this data. And at the heart of it is this idea that just like Facebook understands your social graph and LinkedIn understands your professional graph, Predix can understand the asset graph across all industrial settings. And on top of that, we can build big analytical catalogs with machine learning and build applications in a programming model that's suited for IoT. Now, just like any other software journey, we knew that we couldn't do this alone, and we had to be deliberate about our ecosystem. So one of the first things we did was created this Industrial Internet Consortium, a group. We were one of the founding members along with Intel, with Cisco, with AT&T. And the idea is that, just like in IT, you know interoperability is key. If you think about our customers are going to have multiple machines, multiple operating systems, multiple sources of data. So we wanted an industry group, just like W3C works on standards for the web, we wanted a group that works on standards for interoperability and steward this journey of industrial internet. So we started there, and pretty soon telcos and system integrators joined us. And now companies like Pitney Bowes and Schindler, who are industrial companies, they are on their own digital transformation. They are now partnering with us to use our platform because they don't have to go build a platform. There exists a platform called Predix now for the industrial world. And architecturally, we made sure we had a great set of partners from IT landscape, so we have good interoperability. And we can also deploy our applications in Amazon and Azure and our own data cloud. And along the way, we realized that we also have to go make a whole bunch of acquisitions. And here are some of the examples of ones we made. WorldTech, which is a cybersecurity company, which makes firewalls for industrial settings and environments. We acquired Bitstu, which is the world's largest data ingestion, data mapping, data aggregation platform to connect machine intelligence into our solution. And Wise.io is a machine learning AI company. And we also bought two application companies called Meridian and ServiceMax, which is about field service automation. So we started building a digital business. But I want to show you how that framework went into action in the industry of electricity and get you to think about your own industry, your own business from that lens. The World Economic Forum actually started this digital transformation initiative in 2015. If you go to their website, you can actually see it. It's expanded. They've done studies. It's a multi-year study they're going to be doing, maybe even a decade long, about the impact of digital in every single industry: pharmaceuticals, logistics, manufacturing, consumers, chemicals, oil and gas, electricity, healthcare, you name it. They have it out there. And these are some of the study results from just the electricity industry. Working with CEOs, CXOs, and deep thought leaders, they believe the potential of digital as the following. 75% of the breakdowns in the world in the electricity can be eliminated. 75% of the time when a power plant trips or a substation goes offline, it can be predicted. We actually think it can be higher. 8% of the world's electricity that gets generated never reaches a consumer. Even if we optimize 1 or 2% of that, that's powering whole new economies in whole new countries. And if we save 1% of fuel across just the gas-fired fleet of just GE machines, not even other machines, over the next 10 years, it's $65 billion of value. So just by deploying digital in electricity, there's about $1.3 trillion of value. And over $2 trillion of that additional upside in societal benefits, like decarbonization, like electrification, 3 million new jobs at the intersection of digital and energy, and so on. And similar numbers in other industries that you can go find out. Now, if you think about the industry of electricity, and I didn't know much about it until 4 or 5 years ago, until I got to GE, just like many of you in here, or some of you may know more. This industry hasn't changed over the last 100 years. And there is a parallel in here to other industries. This was a linear business model, meaning electrons got generated, they flowed in a line, transmitted, distributed to end consumers of electricity. But that model is being tested, pushed, and challenged over the last decade. In fact, our founder, Thomas Edison, would still recognize his industry. How many of you have electric cars out here? A few, OK? So there are mobile energy storage devices. And many of my friends in California have rooftop solar, and some of you probably do as well. You're not just a consumer of electricity, you're a producer of electricity. Now, in a world where consumers are becoming producers and distributed energy is popping up, This grid has to radically change. It's no longer about the flow of electrons in one direction. It's about flow of electrons and data in multiple directions. So a simple way to think about your industry is, if it's a linear model, that's going to become a network model. Just last month, I read that Daimler Chrysler announced when their car becomes autonomous, when they build an autonomous car, it is going to be first deployed in the Uber transportation network. Just think about that. Daimler Chrysler, one of the most respected brands in the world, builds cars, sold it through a dealer. It was just a linear model. Now, somebody disintermediated them from their customer. It's called the Uber transportation network, not Uber the app. They're going to orchestrate the autonomous vehicles, and Mercedes may be lucky enough to put their cars on the Uber transportation network. That is possible in every one of the industries, even in an industry where you really rely on a physical asset like the automobile. So remember I told you about the digital twin. Now, we had to go create digital twin not just of other machines in the industrial setting. We had to go do it across the entire electricity network, meaning help companies reimagine the entire grid or all of their operations. So we started building applications, just like, think of this, just like enterprise software. Just like a head of HR has HCM software, or a CFO has finance, and a head of sales has CRM, we started building applications that we call asset performance management, which is really about improving the reliability of all of the machines, monitoring, diagnostics, conditions-based maintenance, predictive maintenance for plant managers, asset operators. And we started building applications like operations optimization, which is about improving productivity when people connect to these machines, or business optimization, which is improving profitability. If this starts to look like other software companies, you're right. We started selling these applications to our customers in a software-as-a-service business model. So our customers can subscribe to Predix the platform, buy these applications for all their operations, and if you're in other industries, you could take these applications and tailor them to your particular industry and resell them in your industry. This is a whole new business. But we can do something different that software companies cannot do. Because we understand the physics of all these machines, we can guarantee outcomes to our customers. We can guarantee how much fuel they'll be able to save, or what is the emissions that we can reduce, or how much of reliability can we improve in the plant. All of these translates to millions of dollars. So we've created a new business model in GE that we call Outcomes as a Service. Just like you subscribe to a Salesforce CRM software, our customers can now subscribe to our software, or they can subscribe to the outcome. And this has translated into a whole new franchise for GE. It is no longer an extension of our existing hardware or services business. It's no longer just about productivity by changing how we work using digital. It is actually a business. In fact, garnering headlines like this. And last year, we did about $4 billion in our software digital business, over $730 million just internal productivity using that software. And there's already over 670,000 digital twins running in our cloud. And more that we're learning from, where our algorithms are getting smarter, we can get better at predictions, we get better at accuracy, and also guarantee more outcomes for our customers. So the first thing was about building a belief system, and the second thing is about going to the core of your digital business, which is reimagining your products and your offerings in a digital way. We learned something along the way that's even more important, which is about culture and transformation. Now, for many companies, culture or values mean a set of statements about ethics and how you work with integrity, which is important, which has served GE well for the last several decades. But we needed something more than those behaviors. We needed behaviors where people were reacting with the speed of the market. They had a belief system around their industry being disrupted or reimagined using software. So we built a whole new, what we call GE beliefs. We rolled it out. We even started compensating people based on the beliefs and how they behave with the beliefs. And we talked about speed in the morning. So if speed was one of the most important things, and I remember 15 years ago being a student of GE, reading from outside the book Execution, and knowing GE as a Six Sigma company, I do believe over the next 5, 10 years, we'll be known as a company for FastWorks, where we applied the principles of Lean Startup. We brought Eric Ries, who is the author of Lean Startup, into GE and created our own methodology that we call FastWorks. And with that, we spread it across the company. This is not just for digital. Now our hardware engineers who make jet engines and make gas turbines can build products in half the time. In fact, last year we launched one of the biggest launches in GE history, the world's largest, most efficient gas turbine. I would actually set a Guinness World Book of Records using our software, which is fantastic. I got to say, does your software do a Guinness record? So we were able to build that in half the time using FastWorks and design thinking. And another aspect of our business was also creating an environment where the software business and the digital business gets measured differently. I cannot be measured the same way as my peer CEOs who run hardware and services business. There was a new set of metrics. It's not just about digital versus non-digital. It's also about new to big businesses versus big to bigger businesses. So we had to transform how we measure metrics. Yes, growth matters, but also things like data under management, assets under management, catalog and size of analytics, whole new set of metrics for us to go measure the business by. In fact, the new portfolio of our business is growing at over 70%. And the last thing is about transforming talent. And when we talk about talent, it's really about not just recruiting new people. GE could have recruited hundreds of people like me, and they would all failed. You had to create an internal environment where existing talent had to be reinvigorated. And also, here, I would urge people to think about diversity. This is one of the things we're setting a goal internally is we know GE is a product of diversity. We're a global company, and we want to see more women engineers in science, technology, engineering, math. So we're setting a goal of 20,000 women in STEM by 2020. That's up 5,000 from today. But more importantly, we want to see by 2020 parity, 50-50, meaning 50% of women entering our technical entry-level programs within the company. I think of it as very simple. If we got 50% of women entering our technical programs by 2020, that's doubling our innovation capacity. So it's important that we think about that. So that means we have to show up differently as an employer brand. First, we had to actually go recruit some software talent. So just like many of my colleagues in Silicon Valley who asked me, like, why are you at GE and what the heck do you do at GE? We actually had a little bit of fun with this and made an ad. And I'd love to show it to you.
Surprise! I heard you got a job as a developer.
It's official. I work for GE.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, I'll be writing a new language for machines, so planes, trains, even hospitals can work better. This is, oh.
Sorry, I was trying to put it away.
Got it on the key.
So you're gonna work on a train?
Not on a train, on trains.
You're not gonna develop stuff anymore?
No, I am. Do you know what GE is?
So, we had great responses ad campaign. We've since done 2 series of these ads and actually started running local versions in other countries and other languages. I'd say our applications for software jobs in GE has gone up by 800%. A part of this is just being, making fun of ourselves because we were not known as a digital company. And if that was externally, internally we had to do something. We have over 330,000 employees and over 60,000 just my business in Power. And while most of their lives may not be touched by digital, many of them spend their day every day with our customers. They are our biggest channel. So we needed to make sure that their digital quotient was up so they can actually engage with our customers and tell the story of why we're going digital. So we created a portal that we're rolling out this quarter on where our existing employees can go, learn about digital, what we're trying to do across the company. So I'd like to show you this video now.
GE Power is becoming a digital industrial business. We are connecting people, data, and machines to transform how we work and reimagine the electricity industry. In the digital world, it's about minds and machines. We need to get digitally fit by learning more every day about how digital is changing everything. This is DigiFit, a place to get sharper, stronger, more flexible. A gym for your mind. Lead the digital revolution for GE Power. Start your workout now.
So again, we're hoping to have some fun with this internally, and I would tell you, for people who don't understand digital, digital can actually be scary for many of your employees. So we want to appeal, if you notice this video, we want to appeal to an aspirational message. And we want to make it fun and engaging, so I think it'll be something that we learn. In fact, what I just shared with you in terms of our framework of digital itself has become a product. Our customers are now asking us, hey, can you help me become a digital health business? Can you help me become a digital utility? So we're starting to offer digital transformation services to our customers. And again, a new business that we're going to go build within GE. So last thing I'll leave you with is the following. It was actually timely. Just a few hours ago, my boss posted on LinkedIn that digital is the biggest transformation in his career at GE. And if you ask our chairman, Jeff Immelt, the real chief digital officer, he'll tell you there is no plan B. That's where you want your CEO. That's where you want your C-suite. So job one, build the digital belief system. Build a belief system around digital, meaning determine what is the critical control points of applications, of data, of digital solutions that you've got to own in your industry, in your business. Second, don't digital whitewash it. It's not about, yes, you got to transform your work, you got to transform your customer experience, but if you're not reimagining the core of what you do, which is your products, your services, your offerings, you are not doing digital transformation. So focus on that. If you're going to be a relevant CIO with a job in leading digital transformation, you've got to go work with your head of products in reimagining the business, because that will give you new business models for your company. And third, transform your culture. Focus on not just new people you bring in, but existing people. Change the rewards. Now, many of the things we're going to do it modernizing GE anyway, but in the context of digital, we're able to do it in a very different way. So focus on those. And I would say, if Sheryl Crow was here, she would say probably, this is a lot of digital and a lot more than diddly squat. So I hope you learned more than diddly squat. Thank you.